If you're thinking about buying the Anker PowerLine II Lightning cable, wait just a second and listen up, because I'm about to reveal some surprising truths that might save your phone and your wallet. This cable promises durability, speed, and even comes with a lifetime warranty. But here's what surprised me. It's not all sunshine and rainbows with this cable for life. You might assume this is the perfect charging cable if you own Apple devices, but the reality, it's a bit more complicated than Anker's marketing lets on, and that's exactly why you need to know what I uncovered. Stick around, because I'm diving deep into the good, the bad, and the downright frustrating parts of the PowerLine II. You'll want to hear this before you spend your $14.99. Let me start with who this review is really for. If you're someone tired of flimsy cables snapping every few months, or you want something that charges fast and lasts longer than a week, this review is 100% for you. But if you're just grabbing any old cable without giving it a second thought, I'm here to show you why PowerLine II deserves a closer look, and maybe a second thought. And no, this isn't your usual tech fluff. It's a brutally honest take that cuts right to the point. Now, here's a quick story from my own experience. I once had a cable that lasted about 2 days, which was frustrating enough to consider switching to wireless charging. Spoiler, PowerLine II promises to fix that problem by withstanding over 12,000 bends and supporting over 175 pounds of pulling force. Sounds like a superhero cable, right? Well, I'll get into whether it lives up to these Herculean claims in a moment. But first, are you ready for some real talk on what charging cables should actually do? If so, keep watching, because I'm about to break down everything you need to know, plus some unexpected issues that might make you rethink this purchase. So let's dive into the deep end. First up, strength is a major selling point for Anker's PowerLine II. It's advertised as being reinforced to handle over 175 pounds of strain. Imagine plugging this cable into your phone, then attaching a small dog and expecting it to survive the tug. Okay, maybe not your dog, but you get the idea. According to lab tests, it can last 12 times longer than standard cables and endure over 12,000 bends without breaking. Pretty impressive, right? On paper, this cable is the Hulk of lightning cables. But here's the twist. The cable feels thicker and a bit stiffer than your average lightning cable, which can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it obviously means more durability. On the other, it isn't quite as flexible as you'd expect. This is a big deal if you're someone who tucks cables into small bags or likes to wrap them tightly. The thicker design means less tangling, but also less convenience if you want a cable that's easy to manage on the go. And speaking of convenience, let's talk about fast charging. The Anker PowerLine II carries MFI certification, meaning it's officially approved by Apple to charge devices safely and efficiently. The charging speed is right up there with Apple's own cables, so you're not sacrificing power for durability here. However, some users have reported slight compatibility hiccups with certain iOS updates, minor bugs that cause the accessory not supported warning. While Anker's customer service is known for being friendly and responsive, it's something to keep in mind if you want a cable that just works flawlessly out of the box. Now, you might be wondering about the length and design. The version I tested is 3 feet long, which is a sweet spot. Long enough to use comfortably near a power source but short enough to stay manageable. If you want longer lengths, Anker offers extended versions, but expect the price to go up accordingly. The aesthetics. It's minimal, nothing flashy, just a sturdy-looking black cable with slightly reinforced ends to prevent the classic fraying problem. That said, while PowerLine II holds up better at the ends than cheaper cables, it's not invincible. After a few months of heavy use, some mild fraying can start to show, so it's durable, but don't think it's impervious to wear and tear. Here comes one of the biggest surprises that I mentioned earlier. Despite all the hype about being a cable for life, with an everlasting warranty, some users shared stories of encountering early failures that made them question the value. It's kind of like buying a pair of shoes that promise to last forever, but after a couple of months, the sole starts peeling off. Sure, you can send it back under warranty, but the inconvenience and the wait time make you wish you just bought a different cable in the first place. Now, no cable lasts forever, unless you have some kind of magic fiber optics, but it's good to remember that even this highly reinforced one can have its weak spots. At this point, you're probably asking, with all these pros and cons, should I buy the Anker PowerLine II Lightning cable? The honest answer, yes, but with a couple of caveats. If you're someone who constantly battles with weak, fragile cables that leave you scrambling for a replacement every few months, then you'll appreciate the extra strength and warranty-backed peace of mind. It's a robust option that's better than most budget cables you'll find on Amazon. But if you need ultra flexibility, or you want a super lightweight cable for travel without any stiffness, this might not be the perfect fit. Oh, and here's a little humor to lighten the charge. Why did the iPhone go to therapy? Because it had too many charging issues. And yes, sometimes your charging cable can feel like your phone's therapist or nemesis, depending on how well it performs. Another one, what do you call a lightning cable that refuses to work? A current disappointment. That makes me wonder if the PowerLine II ever felt that way during its lab testing. Rehook time. Are you still worried that this cable won't survive your daily grind? Stick around. I'm going to tell you about some real-life tests and why Anker's customer service could save your day if something goes wrong. Plus, I'll share one little known tip that could extend your cable's lifespan significantly. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Running cables through real-life situations is where things get interesting. In my tests, the PowerLine II handled everyday abuse better than any lightning cable I've owned for the past year. I yanked it out of bags, bent it around the corner of desks, and even tested its strength with light pulling. Nothing snapped or frayed catastrophically. The only downside: the thicker casing makes it less suitable for super tight spaces, like plugging into a car charger with an awkward grip. If you use this mainly at home or office desks, it's perfect, but car chargers with tight ports might be tricky. Another point worth mentioning is the everlasting warranty. This alone makes the PowerLine II a smart buy if you're cautious about returns or hate spending money on replacements. Anker's customer support has been reported as very reliable, quick to respond, and friendly. One of my viewers told me they got their replaced cable shipped out within 48 hours with no questions asked after their original cable stopped working after 6 months. That's somewhat comforting in an otherwise sometimes frustrating tech accessory market. Want the tip I promised? Here it is. Avoid wrapping your cable tightly around chargers or objects. Leave some slack and try using cable organizers to keep the bends shallow. Even the toughest cables like the PowerLine II will last longer if you treat them a bit gently. Think of it as giving your charging lifeline the TLC it deserves, and it'll keep powering your devices without complaints. Before we wrap up, here's a joke number 3 for the road. Why don't lightning cables ever get invited to parties? Because they're always wired in and never unplug. And last one, what do you say to a cable that won't stop tangling? Give it a break, it needs a little space. Now that we've had some fun, let's bring it home. So, to conclude this honest review, the Anker PowerLine II lightning cable isn't flawless, but it's one of the most durable, reliable lightning cables you can buy for under $20. It offers MFI certification, fast charging, and an everlasting warranty, which is a huge win if you hate the constant treadmill of buying cheap cables or dealing with slow charging times. The slightly stiffer cable design might not be for everyone, and some minor compatibility and wear issues exist, but these are overshadowed by its overall toughness and Anker's solid customer support. If you're ready to invest in a cable that's built to last and backed by a trustworthy brand, then PowerLine II is worth every penny. Just make sure you get the length that fits your needs and treat it with a little care to maximize its lifespan. I've linked the best price I found on Amazon in the description below, but remember, prices fluctuate fast, so check it out before it changes. Thanks for sticking with me through this full rundown. If you found this review helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more honest tech reviews. And remember, a good cable isn't just an accessory, it's the lifeline between you and your phone's power. Don't settle for less, but don't just believe the hype either. Stay charged, stay smart.